My beloved child. Pause here for a moment. Do not rush past these words. Something has been waiting for you. Not by accident. Not by coincidence. Not because you happen to arrive at this exact moment. There is a reason your eyes found this message today. There is a reason your heart feels different right now, even if you cannot explain why. And there is something you need to hear. Because while you have been wondering, questioning, hoping, doubting, healing, and searching for signs, a conversation unfolded today that carried your name in a way you never expected. Your soulmate spoke about you. Not casually. Not carelessly. Not as a passing thought that disappeared like smoke in the wind. They spoke about you with a tenderness that surprised even them. And what they said was beautiful. Before I reveal more, I need you to understand something. Many things happen in the physical world that people can see. But there are also sacred moments that happen quietly. Moments that leave no evidence. Moments that are not posted online. Moments that no one records. Moments that disappear into the silence of ordinary days. Yet those moments often change everything. This was one of those moments. You were not in the room. You did not hear the conversation. You did not see the expression on their face. You did not notice the pause that came before they spoke. But heaven noticed. The angels noticed. And the energy of that moment moved through the unseen in ways you cannot yet imagine. For a long time, you have wondered whether you are remembered. Whether someone thinks about you when the day grows quiet. Whether your absence leaves an imprint. Whether your presence matters more than people say. Those questions have visited your heart more times than you admit. Sometimes late at night. Sometimes while staring out a window. Sometimes while pretending you were perfectly fine. You carried those questions because part of you feared the answer. You feared that perhaps you cared more than they did. You feared that perhaps your heart was creating stories where none existed. You feared that perhaps you were holding on to something invisible while the other person had already moved on. But today brought a revelation. A quiet one. A hidden one. A revelation that arrived without warning. And it began in the most ordinary way imaginable. Your soulmate was not expecting to talk about you. In fact, they were focused on something entirely different. The day was moving normally. Responsibilities demanded attention. Conversations came and went. People spoke. Time passed. Nothing seemed unusual. Yet your name was resting quietly beneath the surface of their thoughts. Like a candle still burning in a room they had not entered for a while. The flame had never gone out. It had simply been waiting. Then something happened. A simple question. A simple comment. A simple memory. Something small. Something insignificant to everyone else. But not to them. The moment they heard it, something shifted. Your energy moved through their heart. Suddenly they were thinking about you. Not briefly. Not for a second. Deeply. Unexpectedly. Powerfully. The memory arrived with startling clarity. Your smile. Your voice. Your kindness. Your strength. The way you cared. The way you listened. The way you made people feel seen. Things they had not spoken aloud before. Things they had carried silently. Things they did not even realize were still affecting them. And then they started talking. At first, the words came slowly, carefully, as though they were opening a door that had remained closed for a long time. But once the door opened, something remarkable happened. The truth began flowing out. Not rehearsed truth. Not polished truth. Not words designed to impress. Real truth. The kind that escapes when the heart stops protecting itself. The kind that appears when someone becomes unexpectedly honest. And when that honesty emerged, your soulmate said something beautiful. They said there was something about you they could never forget. Not because you were perfect. Not because you never made mistakes. Not because everything between you had been easy. But because you were real. In a world full of masks, you felt real. In a world full of performances, you felt genuine. In a world where people often hide who they are, you carried a rare authenticity. And they remembered that. More than you know. More than they expected. The conversation continued. And with every sentence, another layer appeared. Another hidden feeling surfaced. Another truth rose from the depths of their heart. What astonished them most was not that they were talking about you. It was realizing how much emotion still existed beneath the surface. Emotion they thought had faded. Emotion they thought time had erased. Emotion they thought had become nothing more than memory. Yet there it was. Alive. Breathing. Waiting. And as they spoke, they found themselves smiling. Not because everything was simple. Not because every wound had disappeared. But because remembering you brought light into the room. A light they had not expected. A warmth they could not deny. The people around them noticed. The change was subtle, yet unmistakable. The way their eyes softened. The way their voice changed. The way they paused after certain sentences as though feeling something deeper than words. Someone even asked them a question. A question they were not prepared for. A question that reached directly into the center of what they felt. And when they heard it, silence filled the space between one heartbeat and the next. They hesitated. Not because they lacked an answer, but because the answer carried weight. Because the answer mattered. Because speaking it aloud would make it real. And for a brief moment, they considered keeping it hidden. Keeping it protected. Keeping it locked inside. But they didn't. They spoke. And what came next carried more truth than anyone expected. Including them. They said that no matter how much life changed, there were certain people who left permanent fingerprints on the soul. Certain connections that altered the way a person sees the world. Certain hearts that become part of your story forever. Then they said something else. Something that caused the room to become unusually quiet. They said you were one of those people. Not temporary. not forgettable, not replaceable. One of those rare souls whose presence continues to echo long after the moment has passed. When those words left their mouth, even they seemed surprised by the depth of what they felt. Because sometimes people carry emotions for so long that they stop noticing their existence. The feelings become part of the background, part of the atmosphere, part of everyday life. Until one unexpected conversation shines a light on them. And suddenly they realize those feelings never left. They were simply waiting to be acknowledged. My beloved child, there is something important you must understand. You have spent too much time measuring your worth through silence. Too much time assuming that what is not spoken does not exist. Too much time believing that if someone does not express every feeling openly, those feelings must be absent. But hearts are more complicated than that. Many people feel deeply and speak little. Many people carry oceans inside them while showing only a single wave. Many people love in silence. Miss in silence. Remember in silence. Hope in silence. And today, part of that silence broke. Not completely. Not all at once. But enough for heaven to take notice. Enough for destiny to stir. Enough for a message to begin moving toward you. Yet the most beautiful part had not happened yet. Because after speaking about your kindness, after speaking about your authenticity, after speaking about the impact you left on their life, your soulmate became unusually reflective. Their eyes drifted somewhere distant. Not physically. Emotionally. As though they were revisiting memories they had not touched in a very long time. And what they found there changed the energy of the entire conversation. A memory surfaced. One specific moment. One specific experience. One specific memory involving you. The details are less important than the feeling attached to it. Because it was not the event itself that moved them. It was what they realized while remembering it. They realized that during that moment, you had given them something precious. Something many people spend their entire lives searching for. You made them feel understood. Truly understood. Not judged. Not analyzed. Not measured. Understood. The realization hit them with unexpected force. Because understanding is rare. Real understanding is sacred. And once someone experiences it, they never forget. That realization led to another. Then another. Then another. Like dominoes falling. Like doors opening one after another. Like a chain reaction the universe itself had been waiting to trigger. They began recognizing things they had overlooked before. Ways you had supported them. Ways you had encouraged them. Ways your presence brought peace during difficult seasons. Ways your energy made life feel lighter. And the more they remembered, the more emotional they became. Though they hid it well. Most people would never have noticed. But heaven noticed. Every shift. Every heartbeat. Every realization. Every truth. Then something happened that no one expected. Including your soulmate. Someone asked them what made you different. A simple question. Yet powerful. Dangerously powerful. Because some questions force the soul to speak. This was one of them. For several seconds they searched for the answer. Not because they did not know. Because they knew too well. How do you explain a connection that changes you? How do you describe a soul that leaves an imprint on your heart? How do you put eternity into ordinary language? They struggled. Then finally they spoke. And what they said carried a beauty that reached beyond words. They said that being around you felt like coming home to a place they had never seen before. The room became silent. Because everyone understood the significance of that statement. Even if they did not fully understand why. And when those words were spoken, something moved through the spiritual realm. Because truth has power. Truth creates movement. Truth opens pathways. Truth changes timelines. Your soulmate had just spoken a truth they could no longer hide from themselves. A truth that had been waiting patiently for acknowledgement. A truth connected directly to you. Yet what happened next may be the most important part of all. Because after everything they shared, after every beautiful word, after every heartfelt admission, a question emerged in their mind. A question they did not ask out loud. A question they kept hidden. A question that lingered after the conversation ended. A question that followed them long after everyone else moved on. And that question was about you. Not the version of you from the past. Not the version preserved in memory. The version of you that exists right now. Today. In this moment. They wondered how you were doing. They wondered whether you were happy. They wondered whether you still thought about them. They wondered whether destiny still held a thread connecting your paths. And when those thoughts appeared, something awakened inside them. Something they had been trying not to examine too closely. Something powerful. Something unfinished. Something that has not yet revealed its final chapter. But my beloved child, what heaven witnessed after that conversation is something I will reveal in part 2. Because when your soulmate finally found themselves alone later that day, they did something no one expected. Something deeply personal. Something that revealed the true depth of what they feel. And the moment it happened, even the angels paused to watch. What they did next changed everything. And the meaning behind it is far greater than you imagine. To be continued.